Hello there, good people. It's your boy Seth Garvey Baxter with Maker's Bar, where we're creating 1 million leaders today for tomorrow. I'm extremely pleased and honored. I was looking forward to having this particular guest on with us. And as a part of our redefining Black excellence, this person has achieved a great deal in her life. And I feel that our conversation is not only beneficial to defining Black excellence, but as an example, her accomplishments stand as an example in themselves. She presents all things excellent. She is a PhD. She is the presidential recipient of the Presidential Lifetime Achievement Award. She's been featured in several multi-level media broadcasts and publications. She is also a best-selling author via Amazon, and she is also an AmeriCorps foster grandparent program person involved in the foster grandparent program. We are extremely pleased and honored to have with us Dr. Jacqueline King. Doctor, how are you today?
I'm doing well, Seth, and I hope you are.
Glad to be here. I am, thank you. I am. Thank you very much for sharing your time with us today.
My honor.
So, Doctor, tell us a little bit about your beginnings and your origin.
Well, Seth, I've always been a people person. I would say, even as a young child, people would come to me for advice, and I didn't know, how that was going to mold me into getting my PhD in counseling, my master's in counseling. But it seems like, as I reflect, that's who I've always been. So, went on to work in corporate America, the largest electric and gas utility. I'm sure you're familiar with it because you are from New Jersey, PSE&G for 26 years, and retired from there at a very early age, 48 as a matter of fact, and went on to start Black Women Empowered. And so I just felt that Black women struggled as far as connecting with one another and being supportive. So that was the basis, but the foundation was to have them first have a relationship with God, to love themselves and love and support one another. That is the foundation of Black.
Now, may I ask you, Doctor, where do you feel some of that challenge comes with between Black women? It's very interesting that you would say that.
Well, a lot of it comes from insecurity, I believe, and just a fear of someone else making it before you do. When I always say there's enough room for all of us, we can support each other and still be successful. And a lot of it comes from slavery. We were taught uh, certain bad habits from it's passed down from generations. So we have to be untaught we have to unthink the stuff that we learned through our parents and our grandparents.
And Black Women Empowered, you're the CEO and founder of the organization. I'm very interested in how some of your techniques or methodologies in healing or bridging this gap work. Can you give us a little insight into some of that?
Well, we do group sessions where we get together and talk about, what's going on in your life. We do Zooms. We have done Zooms, and I do a lot of social media. So if you notice, we have close to 4 million followers on social media. So I do all that encouragement and inspiration, or we do on a daily basis because we need it. We need it just to survive from day to day. We need encouragement with everything that's going on. We've been doing it for 14 years.
14 years as far as Black Women Empowered?
Correct.
Now, the organization, is it just on the East Coast or do you have other branches around the country?
We're global. So we're a social media ministry platform. So we're everywhere. That one thing about social media, it gives us the opportunity to reach people wherever they are. We have 40,000 women that follow us from South Africa. We have Uganda, St. Thomas, and Kenya. We even have Latina women empowered. So it gives us the opportunity to reach people all over the world.
Is there, I would like to really think about this particular way of phrase this question. Where do Black men fit in the support, or I'm not even sure if the support of Black women empowered, but um, in bridging this gap and supporting Black women to be able to have more communication, or do they fit in? Is it just something that Black women need to do for themselves? If you can elaborate on that.
Well, that's a good question, and a lot of people don't know I actually started Black Men Empowered too. So
Oh, oh, good.
a lot of people don't know it, but it's on our Facebook page. We have over 50,000 followers on that page, and I have a group of men that run that page and do stuff on the men's side. Not as much as I would like, but it is. I did start it for men. So I believe that we can support one another. There's enough room for us to support the men and enough room for them to support us.
So, how can tell me as a man of color, how can we be more supportive? What are some ways?
Well, so we launched our online directory for business owners, and even people who are not business owners can join, because if we don't start building our own platform, we can see how on a daily basis things are being taken away that we took for granted. And I don't want to get into the political side, but it's obvious. So we have to have our own. So I started.
Good to go.
Yeah, so with everything that's happening in the world and things are being taken away from us, so we have to build our own. Jasmine Crockett said it best, but I've been saying it for years. No one's coming to save us. We are our own savior. So I launched the Black Women Empowered online directory where we can connect with one another. It is not a free service, it is paid. The money goes to support our nonprofit, which I'll talk about in a little bit. But uh, if we don't come together and build our own, we're going to be lost. So we have men in there. Beyonce's father, Dr. Matthew Knowles, is in there. We have physicians. We have a lot of people. Over 200 something people have joined, and it's been up for about a year.
What are some of the conversations Black men can have that are supportive?
Just speaking up for us, because we Black women are the most targeted. Black men are too, but Black women are very targeted as far as hate, um, stereotypes. We're angry. So if Black men are on their social media, um, disputing that, that's a good start.
It's a good start in the defense of Black women as a whole.
Correct.
Now, I've noticed in the last few years, it seems there's a proliferation of the expansion of what feminism is. And so you have a Jasmine Crockett, you have a Peyton Jackson, who are different extremes on both sides. And then you have some of the popular social media recording artists and so forth, a Sexy Red and Cardi B. Where, if or how would you does the expansion of feminism, in particular with women of color, does the expansion of those terms fit still, where we can have a Jasmine Crockett, a Condoleezza Rice, a Peyton Jackson, and a Sexy Red and Cardi B? Do they fit in the same room? Do they seat at the same table?
I think it's a different audience, and I think you need an audience for everybody. So I don't follow Cardi B. I'm 67, so but there's an audience for her. So I think there's enough room for all of us. Um, you know, uh, the senators and the older women that are in the Senate and representatives. We need it. We need everybody. We need everybody because we need to reach people who are not necessarily going to listen to a Bonnie Watson out of New Jersey, or all the older women. They're not going to pay attention to them. But the Cardi B's and the other ones, that I don't know who Sexy Red is. See, you just went, you're bringing up people I have no idea who they are. But if they can reach younger people. We need it all.
What are some of the words we should start using to bridge some of the gaps for the younger generation to look up to the older Black women and see some of the struggles they've gone to and how they've made these accomplishments? Women like yourself. So, what's some of the language you can do to bridge some of that gap?
Well, our followers are very wide, so we don't attend to reach the 18-year-olds, and I can't really tell you how we would. But our audience is like from 30 something to 60 something. So we have a very wide audience as far as our followers. And, you know, so I think that music is always something that will attract you initially to get, if you got some music that they like, and it doesn't have to be vulgar music, but you can at least get their attention with music. Music is always a way to do that.
If you had to list, just so we get an idea of what you consider Black excellence, who would be some of the people, living or past, that you would say this is Black excellence? Just so we get an idea in Dr. King's mind of seeing that.
I think Kamala Harris is Black excellence. I really do. Michelle Obama, they um and see, you put me on the spot with this because I'm terrible with names. Yeah, there's quite a few, and Jasmine Crockett, she definitely is. Uh, Representative Presley, Representative Presley, and I don't remember her name, the woman that has the bald head. There's so many out there that they do excellence in everything that they do. But I can't off the top of my head give you a whole list. That's the list I can give you right now.
That's all right. Now, does that fit for women? And this can be controversial. I know I've spoken to some of my female friends. Does this women who are Black women who are in the Republican Party, or Black women who are in the Green Party, Black women who are libertarians, there's room for all women of color, even with their different political views? Are we understanding? Is that something we should understand, or that is challenging for Black women to communicate with each other, though they have different political spectrums, without getting too much in the political sphere, but just your thoughts on it?
Well, I think that we can communicate, but if what we feel our core values are so widespread, and we can't come to some type of happy medium, it's going to be a challenge to do that. But I think there's a friend of mine used to say, "You eat the meat and spit out the bones." There are things that I find are good, maybe in some of the Republican representatives, and some that I find that are horrific, more horrific than good. If I'm just brutally honest, but there are some good things. So if we can come together on the things that work for both sides, that would be great.
If you were defining today's, pardon me, today's Black woman in words just to describe who she is, what would those words be?
Resilient, definitely resilient, because we take so much. A lot of people don't. I don't even think they think about it. But I was having this discussion with someone. I believe it was yesterday, when my daughter, who is getting ready to be 38, was young. I was very meticulous on how my children looked when they went to school. I mean, to a fault. She had ribbons and prissy and all of that. My son wore, back then, Oshkosh Bagosh was the thing.
Oh
He had,
yeah.
laid out.
Oh
That's what
yeah.
they were. But someone says, how do you manage as a single mother to have your kids look like this every day? Get up, get yourself ready, go to work, come home, cook dinner, that. I said, because it's my routine. It's normal. That's my normal. When it's your normal, you don't think of it as a challenge. It's just what you do. So a Black woman has had to be the mother, and in most cases, the father, the everything. So yeah, I would say resilient, strong, independent.
You know,
Bold,
both, bold or both.
bold.
Oh, absolutely. There's my mom was a bold woman, and I would say bold. I think it not only it captures courageous, but it talks about assertive and it's confidence. And there's a number of ways to be able to look at that for sure. I I think I'm sometimes challenged in conversations where, as a man, to make sure a woman feels validated due to the sensitive nature of some of the words and some of the overcorrection where we're in, I think that some men find that the challenge. What are the touchstones that makes her feel safe? What are the words I can use to be supportive? Can you give us some examples on what some of those words might be in beginning conversations?
Yeah, I mean, just be willing to listen. I think that if um some of the men, because as a man, I think you're kind of taught, well, you're taught, of course, to be the head and the lead. But sometimes it's okay to step back and listen, because together you could come up with some really good ideas. And a lot of men struggle, and especially for a strong, independent, very vocal woman, a lot of time Black men can be dismissive.
Why do you think that is?
Intimidation.
Intimidation of her strength?
It could be her strength, it could be her position, it could be, how much money she makes. It depends. But that happens a lot.
How would you say a man can get over that or get through that?
I'm not a man. I can't. Like I tell people, I can't give you the man's point of view. I think that if you really care, if you really care about bridging the gap, building relationships, you will figure it out. I don't have that answer for the brothers. I don't.
That's honest. You know, it does bring us back to this part. You mentioned faith. Where does faith play a role in some of this? Does it play a role in some of the bridging the gap between Black men and Black women? Or does it play a role in women empowerment?
Well, our organization is built on Christianity. And I'm finding, well, a lot of the people who are, should I say, really um, pro-Black, if that's what I want to call it, or in the movement or whatever, have abandoned Christianity because of slavery, because of an abuse in the Black church of power. So to me, and my grandfather was a pastor. I spent most of my life in church. Do I go to church now? I don't, because I believe that God is within you. It's not a building. That's my personal belief, and I think more people are getting to that point where the faith has nothing to do with a building or a pastor or any of that. So the faith is definitely the foundation.
So how do you think we've lost some of that faith? Is it because of the now we've become so much more aware of some of the abuses and some of the mental health we have been addressing through therapy? What are some of the ways that we can get back to that church is not necessarily the place, but that spirituality?
I think a lot of people have the spiritual piece. They just don't want to call it. Some people want to call it a higher power. They don't want to call it God. They don't want to, be subject to listening to a person telling you how you should act. I think it's more so we're moving away from that, if I can be honest. Um, and a lot of it has to do, when you look at it, the master back in the slavery days, that's how they kept Black people in check. Fear. God's gonna get you if you don't do this, or you're gonna be. So I don't even know how to. I think that faith is completely separated from Christianity. And a lot of people don't believe that. A lot of people think that you have to go to church. I went to church 7 days a week. When my grand, you probably know, you know what I'm talking
Oh,
about.
yeah. Oh, yes, I do.
Like
I'm a
you lived in
PK.
church, you know.
My
But
both my parents were ministers, so I'm well aware.
okay, so you know exactly what I'm saying. But
Oh, yes.
um, we've gone to a place where um, I don't think that that's working as far as keeping people in check. Give your whole 10% and then some to the church and live off of crumbs. I think those days are pretty much going away.
I think there are too. I think there's definitely a spiritual awakening, reawakening, and the church has some movement in there, but I see that more and more people are discussing ideas of spirituality. In particular, I see what I didn't used to see as a younger. Black women are now not only Christians, but they're Buddhists, they're Muslims, they are Baha'i faith, converting to Judaism. And here's one of the other things I find interesting. I wonder if you notice this. I've been seeing a lot of women of my generation turn to Catholicism, but not only that, Wiccans, the New Age Christian movement. There's definitely a move in the spiritual direction, more so than I've seen when I was younger, where women of color are trying out these other spiritual ideas and embodying what they feel is this new spiritual awakening. Are you seeing that in some of your experience with the Black women empowerment?
No, because our foundation was built on Christianity. And
Okay.
that's why our network has grown. And let me just say, COVID changed everything.
Yes. Yes, indeed.
When people realized that they didn't have to be in a building to get even if they just want to hear a good word, that changed the game.
Mhm.
So our people really are so faithful. I mean, when you look at it, we have our page on Facebook, our big page has over 2 million followers, but we've got close to 4 million when you add our groups and our pages, all of our pages, and they tend to follow us. Uh, 17,000 on TikTok. I'm 67. I started that page, you know.
That's wow. That is incredible. I noticed you're a social influencer as well, Dr. King. Did you ever imagine that?
No, because, well, I've always been a techie. Um, when computers first came out, I was working in corporate America and I've always loved technology. So I just always expanded upon it because I find it exciting. I'm loving AI.
Are
uh,
you?
yes, I am. And
No concerns about AI and some of the human replacement factors?
oh, I mean, this you can't stop progress. What you can do, you control the things that you can control.
Yes.
So if AI is going to be now your voice at McDonald's or wherever, and that's what they're doing then you got to learn AI and make it work for you. There's always a solution, but you can't sit back and say, "Oh, I don't like AI. It's going to take our job." AI is not going away.
Yeah. Yeah. I think so. The big fear that I see with some people is how much will it replace the human interaction and human input? And then I also have heard similar thoughts on don't be afraid of the change because it can be a vehicle for good if you learn it and work it correctly. But I think because it's such a new uh, uh, new item for us to get used to, the things that AI can do, I see some people feeling trepidations to feel comfortable with that.
People didn't feel comfortable with the internet. Do you remember that? By the
Oh
time
yeah,
Black people got on the internet, we were 10 years behind. That's a
I know.
fact
Why did that happen? I know, Doc.
because
Why?
we don't embrace technology like the other side does. They are right on it. And then when we did come to the internet, we're on Facebook sharing pictures and and doing crazy stuff, not using it to get better at what you do. That's a fact.
Hmm. Why do you think that is?
I can't I can't answer that. I don't know.
Yeah.
But usually by the time something comes out, by the time we grasp it, and you know this is a fact.
Yes,
We're
I
like
do.
10 years behind.
Yeah, I do know it. And I think
Even
all
with Zoom, black people got on Zoom because we didn't have no choice during COVID. Was it? Am I telling the truth?
Doctor. Dr. K, that tickled me. Yeah, you tell the truth. But I was on Zoom before COVID, though.
I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about the average black person didn't even know what Zoom was. Let me tell you what. Let me tell you about Black Women in Power. We started we started on Blog Talk Radio. Do you remember Blog Talk?
I do. I do
We were
actually
on
very
Blog
well.
Talk for 5 years.
Mhm.
We went from Blog Talk, then we started doing a prayer line where you could call in. Then we went to Periscope, which used to be Twitter's online.
Predecessor, yes. I remember
And then
Periscope
we went
also.
to Facebook Live. You have to keep evolving. If you don't, you're going to be left behind. I mean, who would think that I'd be on TikTok? I'm on Blue Sky. I'm on Spoutable. Just got on that. I'm on Fanbase. You have to be there. I very rarely use WhatsApp, but I'm on there.
It's so interesting that we even got to this place where we are 10 years behind because um, I I wondered what that was about, but I feel sometimes the resistance to change is so embedded in us that we don't recognize it until now we're in it 10 years deep, and then we look back and say, why didn't I get on this earlier?
Well, it's going to take education. And here's the other thing about that. I'm big on education. I mean, I didn't finish my PhD till I was 62. And it wasn't because I had to. I'm already retired. I retired at 48. I had an opportunity that was placed before me and I took it. And it wasn't an easy path. It is nothing easy about getting a PhD. The coursework is not hard, but that dissertation is a beast. And if anybody tells you it's not, they're lying to you. They are lying. But the point I'm trying to make is it really is. We used to say at PSNG, the power is in your hand. The power is in your hand. And what you choose to do with it is up to you. No one's holding you back except for you.
Mm, mm. May I ask what was some of the opportunity that you that motivated you to get your PhD?
Well, I went in and took a course. I got my certificate as a chaplain, and my professor or the president of the school says, "Well, why don't you just go for your master's?" And I was like, "I don't know if I want to do that." And he pushed, and I said, "Okay." And then when I finished that, he said, "Well, let's go for your PhD." I'm like, "You are really pushing it." But I mean, I the opportunity was there, and I took it.
Now, I'm curious, in your youth, Black women that you looked up to, who were they?
My mother.
Mhm.
My mother only went to the 10th grade, but she was actually the smartest woman that I have ever known. She was so well read. They read some of her letters on Washington Journal. I don't even know if they still have Washington Journal, but her letters have been read. She was such an awesome writer. She published a lot of stuff, but and all of the people she worked at General Motors, all of the people that knew her after she passed, they told me, "Well, your mom was so smart. Anything we wanted to know, we would go to her." when computers came out, I let her hold a laptop that I had from my company, and she loved it so much she went and bought her own. She was in a wheelchair now too, and
Mhm.
she started learning everything about it. She was 63 when she died, but she was my that was my role model. She when we were my sister and I were young, she read us poetry. I'm not talking about rickety rack. Uh, I'm talking about Edgar Allan Poe. I'm talking about, you know, deep stuff. If you can keep your head when all about you are losing theirs and blaming it on you, Rudyard Kipling, stuff like that. I'm like, this is a woman who didn't graduate, and that's how I ended up writing my poetry book, which ended up being a bestseller on Amazon.
What was the name of your poetry book?
It's still on there, creative words flowing,
Creative
and
Words
there's a
Flowing.
lot of controversial stuff in there because I am an activist.
Tell us about your activism.
I've been an activist forever. So when I worked at the public utility, um, that I started in '77 or '78, and it was so racist. I mean, and plus the public utility, it's all white male dominated anyway. I look back and just amazement at how I even survived, to be honest with you. But I was always fighting for me, fighting for others. Actually, when I left, they called me the Rosa Parks of the. I'm serious, they did. Um, I just felt like I my voice mattered, and I if I didn't do it, who was going to do it?
So, what were some of the issues that you had to be an
Well,
act?
I won't get into it because I did settle a sizable lawsuit
Okay.
that I can't talk about. So
Yes,
I
yes,
will
ma'am.
say I was a fighter.
Yes, ma'am. Now, with some of that, other women that have been role models to you besides your mom, were they also fighters? And who are some of those women?
I can't think of any.
So, your mom was the strongest influence as far as the female heroine.
Absolutely.
Mm. Even historically, with some of the leaders from the past.
I mean, I will say they were there, but my mom was so powerful that
Yes.
that was my rock. I'm not. Yeah, I mean, Maya Angelou. I wrote a poem dedicated to her the day after she died. It's in
Wow.
my book. It's called A Poem for Maya,
Do you
and
remember it? Do you remember it by heart?
no, no. But actually, I have it. I have it right here.
Would you mind sharing it with us?
Well, I guess I can since you asked. Oh, and I can show you the book too. This is the book,
Fantastic. Creative words.
Creative
Fantastic.
Words Flowing. So I can't believe that you just put me on the spot, but let me find it.
You tell me.
Okay, I just came to it. Okay. She touched all of our lives with her melodic words, flowing through the air for all listening to be heard. We watched, we listened, we learned, and we were mesmerized when she recited Still I Rise. We felt inspired and encouraged and motivated too, and we knew that if we had faith and courage, there was nothing that we could not do. She was called a civil rights activist, for with her poetry, she was in fact standing up for injustice, calling for equality no matter what the cost, assuring that another generation would not be lost.
Mm.
Women, we knew that without a doubt, we were phenomenal, regardless of the picture painted by society to make us feel sometimes inferior to some. We will hold our heads up high, looking towards the sky, and continue the work that must be done. Maya, you descended above because God needed you more to spread your beauty, wisdom, and poetry as you entered heaven's doors. Gone but never forgotten, we will continue the work that you set out to do But remember, but know this one thing: we will always love and miss you.
Mm. That's beautiful, and thank you for sharing that. I didn't mean to put you too much on the spot with that, but
You
really,
did,
thank
but
you.
it's good.
So it is still available for people to be able to get that book, correct?
Oh yeah, it's on Amazon.
Fantastic. And then you're also, I found this very amazing as a person who's adopted. So you're part of AmeriCorps foster grandparent program. Tell us about that.
Yeah, it's been a year. I actually just got my first award. Let me show you. So here it is.
Oh, fantastic.
So what I do in the midst of everything else that I do is I go into the schools 4 days a week and I help the kids who are struggling reading. So I do about 10 kids a day. Every 20 minutes, I get a new child and I work with them on their reading, comprehension, and reading.
Now, is this the same thing? And please forgive me as far as my naivete about it. Years ago, I remember seeing some of the program for foster grandparents, and I thought it was AmeriCorps. Is this the same program?
It is.
Now, does it just work on literacy, or is it also about foster grandparenting as a mentor, spending time with the kids, going places, that sort?
So it's really mostly about literacy because our kids are failing drastically as far as reading. I can't say that some of them don't help with math. I don't know. The organization that I work with here in Fort Wayne, we mostly do reading and reading comprehension. And in between that, I would say me, and I would say there are others. We do mentors. I mean, we actually instill, values and we coach them and we love up on them and show them, compassion, caring, all.
How long have you been involved with them?
1 year. Well, it'll be my season just finished last I think it's last Friday. So I'll go back to school in August. We go to school in August, so it's from August until the end of until May. Yeah.
Fantastic. Now, that's one of the issues very near and dear to my heart as far as mentorship and the foster program
How old
in
are
the
you? You said
various ways.
you're old enough to be a foster grandparent, and they're in every state. You
And
have to be 50.
oh, okay. So I don't know that I'll necessarily tell my age on here yet.
I'm sorry, it's too late. I
No,
put you out
I'm just
there.
kidding. That's okay. I'm with Dr. King, so that's okay. I'm just teasing. But yes, no, I've been very interested in that because my parents did it as well. But I think they were more operating as foster parents as well. And when I was younger, the program, I don't, I think when I first started hearing about it, and my dad, he did go to schools. He was focused in on, I have a brother who has special needs, so he's focused on that, but that was part of his program. He was a voracious reader. He and my mother were extremely dedicated to making sure that we could read and comprehend and understood the importance of it. And so that was one of his things. And he too, he used to enjoy reading his poetry to the kids, and that was a part of what he did. So that's near and dear to my heart. I was very interested to hear more about it. And I thought it had been some time since we had been hearing if the program was still in existence. So I was so glad to see that you're involved in it. I wanted to hear more if it was the same program.
We actually just celebrated 60 years.
Fantastic. That is incredible. And I find your dedication to that because I know how busy your schedule is. That's also very impressive. So thank you for serving that, having worked in the schools as well.
Well, one thing that I learned about giving back, where some people say you have to give 10% of your money, but I believe you give 10% of your time. You
Mm,
just give. It's there's no limit on how much you can serve and give and help others. Um, it's not always about the money. If you can do the money, that's great, but everybody can't.
that's right. That's right. Another one of your giving, since we're calling it, is somewhat the tithing. That's what we remember from the church, the
Correct.
tithing. So you're also involved with the Harvest Food Bank. You're a board member there. Would you mind sharing some of that with us?
Yeah, Well, I have a nonprofit, which is Black Women Empowered Safe Haven. And we also have been doing business for 14 years. So I started it because um, I did some research on women who went into the military. And I found out that a lot of Black women that go into the military don't go in because they just rah rah love their country and want to serve. They go in because they have no other alternative for making money and having a roof over their head. And
Mm.
so I also found out that a lot of them, even though there's a lot of opportunity when you go to the military to get your education and do different things, a lot of them don't take advantage of those things. And so when they get out, the skills, whatever skills they have, are not transferable. And in addition to the mental trauma that they face, sexual abuse, they come out and a lot of them are homeless.
Homeless.
Homeless. You heard me. Homeless because they have no skills. They didn't go to college. They didn't, and then they have, a lot of mental stuff. If you're in combat and you're seeing all that PTSD, all of that, that's real. So yeah, homeless. So
Mm.
I did that research and I decided to start. I was never in that. People say, "Were you in the military?" No, but I did this research and I started Black Women Empowered Safe Haven. And I started it to try to do something for those women. It didn't matter what color they were. It just mattered that women who served our country are not treated the same as the men. If you look around at the shelters, there's very few shelters that house only women. And to put a woman who's already been abused sexually, emotionally, in a shelter with a man, that's a double whammy because
Yeah.
she's already abused and she's already got mental stuff going about that. So that's why I started Black. We never opened a house, but I've done what we've done is support to a lot of domestic violence centers, food pantries. And that's how I ended up with Community Harvest. Because when I was in Greensboro, North Carolina, we did food drives every year. We did them from January. We did January and February online food drives, but you could take the food to the local shelter. And the reason we did it in January and February is because after Christmas, people are tapped out. They don't want to give no
Yes.
more. You don't spend your money, ran out. So now the cupboards are bare. That's when they need the most. So I did that for years. And so when I moved to Indiana, I said, well, I got to find out how I'm going to be able to continue the work that I do. And I found Community Harvest and sat down with the director. And, no, actually, I'm sorry, I sent a very sizable donation, just sent it in. And so we met and talked about, what I was doing. And we kept running to each other. And she asked me to serve on the board. Um, so that's what happened.
And now, I don't know if I heard this correctly. Is it just primarily for women who are enduring those kind of issues, or is it also for young people?
Talking about that we help.
Yes.
No, we don't discriminate. So now we've kind of moved more to partnerships. So we now support domestic violence centers, women's shelters, and we also support Community Harvest. We are a partner to Community Harvest, so we give them um, monthly donations. We don't do. We used to do individuals where we paid people's light bills, phone bills, if they had needed help with their rent, and we had it. We bought Christmas gifts. We did a lot of stuff, but it's hard to sustain that if you're not getting the donations like you would like. So we have partnerships.
I'm just curious, kind of a sideboard question with the tariffs and so forth. And again, not being political, but are you guys having a more challenging time since this last cycle of tariffs or anything? Is that impacting some of the donations of the food bank?
Well, so I can't say that for the food bank because I'm not on the financial side. I'm
Mhm.
a board member, and I don't know, but I would say that the tariffs are affecting a lot of nonprofits as well as for profits.
Mhm.
I would say.
Yeah, yeah. So, somewhat of a shifting gears, the presidential lifetime, you are a recipient of that award. Tell us about that, please.
So not only am I a recipient, but I am awardee too. So our nonprofit is certified to be able to give them out. We
Oh,
gave
yeah,
out 17 this last past August, to people who were doing all kind of voluntary work. And we did it in Fayetteville, Georgia. The mayor gave us a proclamation. He came. It was beautiful. Um, so yeah, we that's what we do. We're certified. You have to actually
congratulations.
certify, and you have to take a test and keep your certification up every year. You have to recertify to be able to do that. As of today, the president has not sent out a letter. It used to be because they got letters from Joe Biden. We have that has not been. We haven't gotten anything from what uh, President Trump is going to do. If it's going to continue or he's going to send a letter. As far as I know, there's nothing been done since Biden left as far as getting a letter.
If you had to say some words to encourage a young woman who is 15 years old, and she came to you because you're also a career development coach and brand consultant, what would you give her as the best piece of advice? If she said, I want to be a business owner, what would you give her as your best piece of advice?
Um, Study and stay focused because even business owners, the biggest reason that business owners fail is because they quit when they don't see the results immediately. And 14 years, I have seen everything, believe me, and probably experienced a lot of everything too. Uh, just stay focused, committed, and don't let disappointments or failures, as you perceive as failures, make you stop going forward. The only time that you're going to actually fail is if you quit.
Is there anything?
Failure is not an option.
Failure is not an option. I was hearing this other thing before I get to the other question. Failure is not an option, but it is. Instead of an option, take it as an opportunity. And then he was saying there are millions of people who failed thousands of times, but instead of seeing the failure failure as 10,000 times, they saw it 10,000 times. It didn't work until I found a new way to make it work. So failure is just a part of the process. I found it very
And
interesting.
one other on that is I tell people no. When people tell you no, no means next opportunity.
Oh, I like that a lot. Oh, I'm going to use that. Okay, wait. So we don't want to use that if we have younger kids, though. They'll just say, "Okay, it's my next opportunity to act up." So when I
Right.
tell you no,
Well, for people who are looking for opportunities,
yes,
if
yes,
you're getting no, don't let that be the end.
yes.
Matthew Knowles, who is a good friend of mine, Beyonce's father, he told me um, that when he was doing pharmaceutical sales, he never people would say no, 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 and he would keep going back to the same person until he could change their mind. Now I'm not. That's not me. I'm not. I'm not going to do. I told him I'm not doing all that. I have some interviews on our. You can go back and look at some of our interviews. I've interviewed him quite a few times. He's actually been
I
on
would
our
check this
platform
out.
too. But he is a very smart businessman, and that's I bring him on a lot. He's real. I mean, he's got the number one Grammy winning daughter,
Absolutely, the
ever,
queen bee.
Queen Bee. So yeah, you can't give up.
Absolutely, I think that's true. What's the one word you hate? Or you can even say don't like. Some people don't like the word hate, but you really don't like this word.
Racism.
Racism. What's the one word you really love to hear?
Definitely unity.
Unity. Unity. What's the best quote or the most inspiring quote that you feel motivated anytime you hear it?
Actually, I there's quite a few of them, but I tell my kids grew up on this, and I everyone who knows me, is close to me, knows the truth is not always popular, but it's always
Mm. Please repeat that once more.
the truth is not always popular, but it's always right.
Mm. Oh, I like the pause on that. Oh, I like that a lot. Okay. Oh, I really like that a great deal. So your favorite musical artist, alive, past or present?
Musical. Oh man, now you're really putting me on the spot. Okay, so if we're talking R&B, it's always going to be Luther.
Oh, you said it right there. It's always going to be Luther. That's right.
Always going to
Now,
be. There's
oh yeah,
no, no. There'll never be another Luther.
no, no. Teddy Pendergrass in there.
No, no.
Freddie
I mean, Teddy
Jackson.
was cool, but Luther was just Luther.
That's right. It's
Um,
kind of like, you know,
for gospel, hmm, I don't know. There's a few, but I think I really like on men it would probably be Donnie McClurkin,
oh, dig it. Yes.
and on women probably Cece, and I love Cece, the
Oh, I
Winans
do too.
TV Cece. Yeah,
I do too. Tasha Cobbs is pretty dope too.
she is, but I'm old school.
Oh yeah. Okay. So when we're talking old school, I think about Shirley Caesar.
Shirley Caesar. Shirley Caesar actually used to hang out with my aunt. My aunt was a musician.
Wow.
Yeah, see, we're from Durham, North Carolina. That's where Shirley Caesar's from too. Yeah, she used to hang out with my family.
Oh yeah, she's one of the ones. Andre Crouch had the privilege of meeting. He and his sister loved them. Went to their church many times. They're back in the old school when I was younger, and my sister just used to play them. And my brother, I still can listen to them and not grow tired.
Definitely. The Edwin Hawkins, see, I go back to
Oh
old
yes,
J.
oh yes, Edwin
The
Hawkins.
Hawkins used to put it down.
Oh yes, they did, Doc. Yes, they did. You're not kidding.
Tremaine.
Tremaine. Oh yes, Lord. That was one of the ones. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. No, yes, Lord was Sandra Crouch. Tremaine did this other song I used to love to hear my sister sing. Oh my goodness, Tremaine Hawkins. Oh
Going
yeah,
up yonder.
that's
All of
it.
that.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And then when you feel you want to be meditative.
If I want to meditate, I like soft jazz, smooth jazz, and
Soft jazz.
I don't have any particular um, artist that I love in jazz. I just if I'm gonna be in that with the candles and all, it's gonna be smooth, soft jazz. Doesn't matter.
No Sade? Not Sade?
I've never really been a big. Now I like Lauren Hill. I've never
Wait
been
a
a big.
minute. What?
Lauren
Doc.
Lauren was my girl.
I love Lauren too, but Sade, Dr. King,
I
what?
never was a shot maker.
I am in shock. Oh wow. But Lauren,
Anita
oh,
Baker was my girl.
oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Anita's in there. I've seen her in concert 4 times. That she has not disappointed once.
Yeah, she disappointed me. In New Jersey, that last tour she did was a fiasco. Believe me, she
Oh,
was 2 hours late,
oh, that's disappointing for sure. Because she's one of my all-time
but she
classic
still
favorites.
sounded good.
Yes, indeed.
She
Yes, she
did, but
is.
she's got some. In her defense, I think she has some health issues going.
Oh, okay. I've heard little whispers going along those lines, but I tell you, I think the last time I saw her in concert was just about 2 years ago, I think, and I hadn't noticed anything because she was incredible, and I hadn't noticed it. But I've been recently
That's
hearing
because
that.
you didn't wait for 2 hours. You sat there for 2 hours. And
Well,
Babyface got canceled.
Oh, see, and I still have a little bit of
You heard
disappointment with.
about? I know you heard about it.
I did, I did. I gotta say that surprised me because I love Babyface too. I was disappointed in Anita
Oh,
with that
it
one.
was disappointing. It
Yeah.
was my Mother's Day gift from my son. We sat there doing nothing for 2 hours.
Wow. Yeah, I was disappointed by that. Yeah, I did hear that. And then they had the whole disparaging conversation back and forth and so forth. That was really
It's
disappointing.
ugly. It
Yeah,
was really
yeah, that
ugly.
was disappointing. That was disappointing. Now, when we're talking about inspirational things and all the work that you've done, if there was someone else that you could say that past or present that is inspiring to you or that you would even recommend to others, the number one person you can think of, who would that be?
It- well, I told you it's really
Just your mom? Just your
well,
mom?
no, 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 no. Well, Maya is really
Oh,
her
yes.
stuff is so heavy when you listen to it. If you do, she was the queen
Yes.
as far as bringing it home with words
Yes.
to me. Um, but I really do like the new one, the new young lady that was at Obama's,
The Nobel, she's the poet laureate. Yes, yes, yes.
and I'm
Oh,
not
her
saying
name is escaping me.
Amanda Gorman.
Yes, yes, yes.
I
Extremely
really do.
inspiring.
I think that she is so brilliant, and yes, I do. But Michelle Obama is the lady.
Yes, yes. What do you think about her new podcast?
I don't listen to it, and I'm not going to say why because she might hear this. I take clips of it and I share it, but I don't really.
Okay, and we'll leave it at that. We're gonna go high and stay up there.
That's where we're
Right?
going.
That's right. That's right. I got to tell you, Doctor, I have been looking so forward to this interview for a long time because I did a small series a while ago, as I mentioned to you pre recording this interview, redefining Black excellence. And a part of it was in recognition that Beyonce and Jay Z or Colin Powell or a number of influential, wealthy Black people, they're one standard of the definition of Black excellence. But to me, you are a part of that definition. And when I say the redefining, it was an examination of what does this mean? Is it just to reach this upper echelon? Or is there a whole sphere of Black excellence that sometimes doesn't get the recognition because of maybe they don't have social media presence or maybe they're doing just work over here and it's not being shown a light upon? But I wanted to continue that. And you're a part of that for me in that, not just a redefinition of it, but a re-examination of the term Black excellence. So I just appreciate and thank you very much on behalf of being an example of Black excellence to me as a man of color. And it is truly an honor having you with us with all of the accolades and the magazine covers and the media that you've been a part of. Being yourself a social media influencer, that's no joke. Kim K, look out. But it really is, it's really an honor for me. There's a number of Black women that are in my life that you're an example for. My sister is also a counselor herself up in the Washington area, also in the military for years. She retired as a sergeant general, and she opened
I
up.
need to interview her.
I will. You know what, Doctor? I don't kid me. I will send you her information. My sister, she is. She is. I've always called her. She's my older sister, but I love my older brothers too. But she just has such a light, and I know you two would just hit it off. She is incredible, not only as a beautiful singer, her voice. She used to help put me and my younger siblings to sleep at night, and even sometimes when I was younger, going through school or whichever, she'd soothe me because she's that way. And then her counseling style, I can't say enough about who she is to me. I know you two will get along. Her name is Sharon, and I can't shout her out enough as my older sister, but she's an example also of Black excellence to me.
I
And
love that.
absolutely, oh, she's definitely my mom. Really, with my sisters, she really was very instrumental in representation of femininity and an example of women's power. My mom herself was very much a powerful woman and held her power, rest her soul. But my sister is in that same light. And so for my sister Sharon and those women, another one is Estancia Henderson. She's another example of Black excellence to me. And for them, this interview is extremely important because they're women who look to your example and what you represent. So, on behalf of all of those women, I truly thank you. Thank you for spending your time and sharing that with us today.
Well, it's been my pleasure. And what I would say is um, have your audience check out the directory because we have some really phenomenal business owners in there. And that's the whole point of the directory. These people would not have these close to 4 million eyeballs, the opportunity, I can't guarantee anything, the opportunity to have them on their products if they weren't in there. That was the whole reason why I put it together to get exposure. When you get in there, you can share all your social media, your blogs, your website, your videos. I mean, all of that's right there in one place. And that's what you want.
Doctor, where can they find the directory?
It's blackwomenempowereddirectory.com.
Fantastic. Blackwomenempowereddirectory.com.
Correct.
We will absolutely will also try and put a link in this interview when it's published, and I will definitely continue to promote that because it's extremely important to me that we do support each other. And just for me, as I had a dad who definitely raised us with the recognition of you as our beautiful women of queens and so forth. So he honored my mom with that. So we recognize it. So we'd love to be able to support it even further.
Well, thank you so much. And this has been really one of the best interviews I think that I've had anyone do for me, honestly. If
Thank you,
not the
Doctor.
best.
I appreciate it. I told you, Doc, I wasn't kidding when when I was trying. Hey, Doc, how you doing? I just want to see. I've been, and I was telling some of my lady friends, I was saying, I'm going after Dr. King. I want to get her on there. So for me, this has been stellar. I have been just so looking forward to it. For those words coming from you, it truly means a great deal to me. I thank you truly.
Thank you. And be glad to post it all over our site. If you give me the link, I will
Will
actually
do.
put it on our pod. We have a podcast too. I'll put it on our podcast. We're on Apple. We're on Spotify. We're everywhere. Um, I'll put it on everything that we have.
I'm going to get my sister over to you as well.
I well, look, I'm going to have to interview you as well.
I would love it. I absolutely would enjoy it. It would be my honor, humbly. It would absolutely be my humble honor.
Make that happen. We'll talk about the men's side.
Oh yes, I love to be a part of that. I really mean that, Doctor. Are there any other places people can look you up and want to be able to find you besides the address you gave out?
If they go to that directory, all of our social media is down the bottom. Even if they go to blackwomenempowered.org, we have two sites. We make it simple. You just click on the links down the bottom and then you go to all of our social media platforms.
Thank you, Doctor. You are a superhero to many of us, and we thank you very much for your work and speaking to the Makers Bar audience and being with Seth Guru Baxter today.
Thank you, Seth. It's been my pleasure.
Oh, truly, Doctor, it's been my pleasure and my honor. I can't say that enough. You just make me smile, and I feel like I've gotten a little more intelligent too. Dr. Jacqueline.
And I gave you a couple of chuckles.
You did. Oh, yeah, because I didn't expect something. You definitely did. Oh, see, I was trying to hold it together, Doc. Dr. Jacqueline.
Humor is good for us.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. It got me in trouble a couple times, but I got
And
to
I
tell
like
you.
your locks too. You see, I have locks too.
Oh yes, I was going to comment on how beautiful they are, and thank you very much. Because we work at them, and then once you get them, you do definitely get into a pattern of just taking care of them, and it's not as hard as people think sometimes.
No, and it really up to me is the best. I mean, I can't say that I would ever go back. Well, chemicals are we already know that chemicals are bad, but I would never go back.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, I get that. And I love it anyway. I love women with dreads. I do. Well, I don't know if I should.
You done put it out there now,
I know, Dr. Right.
and you
See,
can't take it back.
I do. Yeah, I guess I put it out there, Doc. Oh boy. No discrimination to women who don't. But
Yeah, I feel the same way. But
Dr. Jacqueline King, thank you so much for being with us today.
thank you.
Absolutely. I'm looking forward to staying in touch with you, and thank you for all the blessings you've been giving to our
I
community.
will actually. I'll inbox you my my information so we can stay in touch.
I really would like that, Doctor. I feel absolutely honored. Thank you, Doctor.
God
Well, you've
bless.
heard it here. Absolutely. You've heard it here today. We had the extremely honorable guest, Dr. Jacqueline King, here for our audience, gracing her with our conversation. It has been an extreme pleasure. As I've often said at the closing of this program, the revolution that we want is filled with love. It is the love-volution. And today we had a great deal of the beginning of some of what that means. Today, be kind to each other and begin the revolution of love. Dr. King, we thank you so much for joining us, and we're looking forward to speaking with you again.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Take good care of people. Love each other better. Till then, again, next time. Peace. Doctor, talk to you soon.